It is Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank here on WCCS AM 1160 and 101.1 FM, the voice of Indiana County. And our interviews right now are presented by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. One of the sure signs that the holiday season has arrived is the presence of the Salvation Army's Red Kettles, as they are now out and about in the community. And joining us right now to talk about the Red Kettle campaign and all things Salvation Army is Lieutenant Candace Horsman, the Corps Officer of the Salvation Army of Indiana County. Candace, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, and we're glad to have you on, and we hope that your Thanksgiving was well. I know that the Army was doing their best to help feed some people who might need a little bit of extra assistance yesterday.
Yeah, we did. Typically, we do an in-person event, but because of COVID, we weren't able to do that. So we decided to try to adapt with the times and do a drive-through event, and we ended up distributing 375 meals. So, wow. Yeah, definitely the need is increasing this year.
Mm-hmm. And with that need comes the need for funds for the Salvation Army to be able to fill that need. And the biggest campaign of it all is the Red Kettles, which I did see one over at one of the grocery stores, so I know it's underway.
Yeah, typically you hear them before you see them, right?
Right, exactly.
the famous red bells. But yeah, our biggest fundraiser is, we're in the midst of that, the Red Kettle campaign, and our goal this year is $60,000, and that's an increase, I believe, because the need is increasing, and so we're needing to meet that.
But also with that comes with it a change in probably procedures. As you mentioned, You had to adapt for the Thanksgiving Day meals. Mm-hmm. Well, how have procedures been changed or adapted as far as the Red Kettle campaign goes?
Well, we still have our in-person kettles outside of stores, but we have safety precautions in place. We make sure we're sanitizing the equipment every evening. The ringers and the volunteers, they're going to wear masks and distance more from the door. And then we're also rolling out some online opportunities for giving. We're doing something this year called the Create a Kettle Challenge, where local schools and churches have decorated one of our tabletop kettles. And each of those small tabletop kettles has their own unique donation link where people can vote for their favorite and donate. And so we're trying to, again, adapt and have some in-person but also some online to make up that difference.
Now, I have seen those traditional tabletop kettles, as you call them, but I think that is actually a very nice idea to have them be decorated up for the holiday season, and it really reflects on the personality of the people who have those tabletop kettles in place, or the business that does.
It does, and they did a beautiful job. Some of these are just excellent, and you could just see the passion that they put into it. And we thought it would just be a good idea to kind of, not just ask the community for funds, but ask them for help, and contribute to the fundraising in that way. So we have some really beautiful kettles out there.
All right, where can people see these?
There's one at 9th Street Deli, Krause's Cafe, Bradley's Books, and oh goodness, I forgot the other one. I should have the list in front of me.
But will that be available online too?
Yeah, we have the links to the kettles, and then we'll be posting the location shortly as well.
Excellent. So Red Kettle campaign traditionally runs right up to about Christmas Eve, right?
Yep.
All right, and that's not a lot of time, but people, again, as we know, that this campaign is nationally known for being there for people and for just collecting. I remember as a kid going up with my quarter, putting a quarter into the pot, or I think one time, and this was way, way back in history, we actually had a man who showed up in what looked like vintage-looking Salvation Army outside uniform, and he was playing a tambourine instead of ringing a bell. So this really has been a campaign that has gone on for many, many, many years.
Yeah, really almost as long as the Salvation Army has been in existence, which is over 150 years. We knew that in order to help people, we need to raise funds to do that, and so Kettles was born, and it's just continued on as a legacy around the holiday season.
So that money that is collected by the Red Kettles, that stays within the Army in Indiana, right?
Absolutely. All donations stay local. They help us with our programs, such as our after-school program, our social services, rent and utility assistance, our toy program around Christmas, our Thanksgiving dinner. So it all stays in the community, absolutely.
And as we've said, that need has increased because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I would imagine as well that programs have changed, like your after-school program or like the rent assistance and utility assistance programs. They've also seen some probably either upticks in activity or changes in how things are done.
Definitely. We're seeing more people coming in for rent and utility assistance, and we're also seeing people that have never received social services before in their life, and they'll say that, I never thought I'd get here, they'll say, and, but I lost my job. I have medical bills due to COVID-19, and so we're not only seeing, an increase in what we're giving out, but just an increase in new people that we've never seen before.
It all goes back to the mission, I think, of the Army, and I remember seeing it on the signs that accompany the kettles, doing the most good, which goes back, I think, to the founder of the Army, right?
It does. It's a quote, and in the context of it, she said, doing the most good to the most people in the most need. And so we're just trying to meet as much need as possible to the most people.
What are some other things that the Salvation Army is going to be doing maybe to help supplement that campaign? I know we talked a little bit about seeing the pictures of the tabletop kettles online. I know that there's the virtual red kettle as well.
Yep, there's a virtual red kettle, and all that information is on our Facebook page, the Salvation Army of Indiana, PA, and people can go and have direct click those links directly. But we also, in a couple of weeks, we do have some door hangers that we're going to be hanging on doors that have information on how people can donate virtually as well. So we'll be distributing those in the next couple of weeks. And, yeah, again, we're just trying to find creative ways to fundraise in the midst of the pandemic.
We're talking with Lieutenant Candace Horsman of the Salvation Army of Indiana about some of the fundraising efforts. Of course, the Red Kettle campaign is underway. You can probably, as she said, hear them before you actually see those kettles, but it is underway, and it looked like to me it was off to a strong start, at least for that one location that I saw. But do you have kettles set up all over the place?
We do. It depends on how many people I have. I will say I have more locations than I do people, and so we're definitely in need of more volunteers if people are willing. But for the faithful ones that we have, they're doing really, really well, and I believe we're somewhere around 8% of our goal.
Wow, and that's a good start.
What'd you say?
I said that was a good start.
That is a good start. Yeah, we were able to start Walmart a little bit early this year, so that helped tremendously.
All right, how can people volunteer to be a bell ringer?
If they want to just call the office and ask to speak with me, I would be happy to sign them up. The scheduling is flexible. Whatever time people are willing to give, I will put them on the schedule, and it would be greatly appreciated.
All right, and what's the number to call?
It is 724-465-2530.
All right, and we'll repeat that information once again, all that contact information for the website, social media, and the phone number a little bit later on. But this has been, as you said, an unusual year, but you've mentioned how you've seen people who have come in who have not really needed social services before. I imagine also you've probably had to change your after-school program because of the way school is being presented this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Before COVID-19 hit, our capacity for the after-school program was between 40 and 50 children. And so obviously we're not able to do that safely, and so we changed it to a one-on-one tutoring program. So students would sign up for certain slots, and they'd come in and they'd get tutored and homework help in that way.
Oh, okay. So they get the individual as the help there that they need, probably.
Yes. So in some ways it's really great for the students because they're getting that one-on-one attention, that one-on-one assistance, and it also ensures that we can have precautions in place like, being socially distant and all of that.
Have you been able to provide any of those either after-school services or any other services that the Army would provide? Have you been able to do that in a virtual sense as well?
We haven't yet, but I have known of some Salvation Armies that are doing that, and so we are looking into that because we want to be able to help people. We don't want our after-school program to grow stagnant, but we want to, again, adapt. So we're looking into some things that we can do virtually to continue to meet that need for educational assistance.
All right. Lieutenant, we are just about out of time, but maybe we can go through some of the things once again. Red Kettle campaign running them through Christmas Eve or so, and kettle locations. I hope I gave you enough time to look up all of those locations.
Oh, well, the regular kettles are they're at Walmart, Indiana, Walmart, Blairsville, and Bilo and Giant Eagle. Those are the regular ones. And then the countertop ones are at 9th Street Deli, Luxembourg's, Krause's Cafe, and Bradley's Books.
All right, so you can go to any of those locations, and you can also vote for your favorite tabletop kettle as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. On our Facebook page, the Salvation Army of Indiana, PA, the post that's pinned to the top has information on how you can donate virtually to one of those kettles.
All right, and you can also, of course, go through the virtual red kettle through the Salvation Army's website?
Yes, that as well.
And that is what?
www.thesalvationarmyofwpa/Indiana.
Okay, so we'll get that on there. And if they want to contact you by phone to volunteer to be a collector at one of the kettles?
Yep, they can call 724-465-2530.
Candace, thank you very much once again for joining us today here on Indiana in the Morning. All the best, and I hope that the Red Kettle campaign once again is a success. And congratulations again for that massive help that you gave people yesterday with all those Thanksgiving dinners. Have a great holiday season.
You too. Thanks.
Thanks again. Lieutenant Candace Horsman of the Salvation Army of Indiana joining us this morning on Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. And our interview segments are brought to you by our friends at Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people.